Hello and welcome to the Maths Matrix. My name's Rebecca and in today's video we're going to be doing addition. Whenever I get a new student for the first time, in our first lesson I always go through a big list of topics with them, everything that they're supposed to know for GCSE, and for each topic I ask them, have they covered it at school, could they do it, or was it something they struggled with? And we make a list of all the topics that they need to work on. And then I pick the most basic of the things that they've struggled with, and that's always where we start. So the first question I always ask them is, can you add without a calculator, even if you have to carry one and even if there's decimals involved? And if they can't, then that's always what we start with. I'm going to flash up a list of questions in a minute, and if you know that you could do all of those confidently, then you don't need to watch the rest of this video. You can just skip on to the next one. But if there's some of those questions that you look at and you think, I wouldn't know how to do that, then stick with this video. We'll go through each of the types of addition, and then at the end I'll put the same questions back on screen, and hopefully by then you'll be able to do them. For this lesson, all you'll be needing is paper and a pen. And the only prerequisite knowledge that you'll need is how to add together single digit numbers. So for example, how to add 3 and 4, or how to add 5 and 4. That's all you'll need for this lesson. On its own, addition is not going to get you many marks in an exam, but if students can't confidently add, subtract, multiply and divide without a calculator, it does cost you a lot of marks on a non-calculator paper, because they're skills that you're expected to be able to do as part of more complex questions. And if you can't, then you can't do those complex questions. So it's definitely worth taking the time to make sure that those 4 skills, adding, taking, timesing and dividing, are all in order, ready for your non-calculator paper. So here's the list of questions. And if you're still with me now, I'm assuming that there were some of those questions that looked a bit challenging for you. So we'll go over how to do them, and then at the end you can try them for yourself. Let's get started. So the most simple type of addition is where there's no decimals involved and we don't have anything that we need to carry. So an example of that might be something like 635 plus 124. So if you copy that one down, and then what we do is we start adding from the right hand side, and you'll notice when I've written that, I've written it nice and neatly so that my 5 and 4 are directly above each other. My 3 and 2 are directly above each other, and my 6 and 1 are as well. So we want nice, distinct, neat columns in order to be able to do these without making mistakes. And then we just start adding from this column here. So we say 5 plus 4 is 9. 3 plus 2 is 5. And 6 plus 1 is 7. Which means that overall, the answer to that one is 759. That's all there is to that. So let me show you another one. If we have 204 plus 362. So we start adding from this side and we say 4 plus 2 is 6. 0 plus 6 is 6. And 2 plus 3 is 5. So the answer to that one is 566. Okay, so I'll pop a couple like that up that you can now try. So if you do 421 plus 535, and then if you do 754 plus 203. Okay, so just pause, have a go at those, and then hit play again when you've done them. Okay, so let's go through those. 1 plus 5 is 6, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 4 plus 5 is 9. And then the second one, 4 plus 3 is 7, 5 plus 0 is 5, 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay, so that's the simplest type of addition. Incidentally, if you're not very quick at adding numbers like 4 and 3 making 7 or 7 and 2 making 9, I always say to my students of all ages and all abilities, you are never too grown up to count on your fingers or never too good to count on your fingers. So if you don't know straight away that 4 plus 3 makes 7, just use your fingers and say 4, 5, 6, 7. So that you'll get the right answer. I'd always rather people took a little bit longer and counted on their fingers and really thought about things than rushed in and got wrong answers. And the more you do these types of questions, the faster you'll get. So I don't even need to think anymore that 4 and 3 is 7, I just know. But that wasn't always the case, and a lot of time at infant school is devoted to learning to add single digit numbers quite quickly. But if you can't do it quickly, then don't be afraid to use your fingers and spend some time over it to get the right answer. It doesn't matter how long it takes. So that's the simplest kind of addition. But sometimes when we add these two numbers together, we don't get a single digit answer, we get a double digit answer, and that's where we have to carry on to the next column. So let's do some examples of those. So if, for example, we wanted to add 368 and 254, then we'd say 8 plus 4 makes 12. So what we do is we put the 2 in that column, and the 1 part of the 12 we'd carry all the way across to the next column, and we'd just write it little underneath the next column. So we don't want it between two columns, and we don't want it there. We want it underneath and just little. And we know that we're going to put it that way round because it still needs to look like 12 when we're finished. So sometimes people want to put the 1 there and carry the 2 over, but if you do that, it looks like 21. It doesn't look like 12. So we know that the 1 has to get carried so that it does still look like 12, albeit a diagonal 12. So 8 plus 4 makes 12. And then we say 6 plus 5 makes 11, and now we add that 1 that we carried onto that. So 6 plus 5 makes 11, and adding 1 on makes 12 again. So again, we put the 2 part of the 12 there and carry the 1 across to the next column. And then we say 3 plus 2 is 5, and add the 1 on makes 6. So the overall answer to that one is 622. Let's do another one. So if we have 578 plus 348. I'll just let you copy that one down. So then we'd say 8 plus 8 is 16. So we'd put the 6 part there and carry the 1 across to the next column. And then we'd say 7 plus 4 is 11, and add the 1 on makes 12. And then we'd say 5 plus 3 makes 8, and add the 1 on makes 9. So the answer to that would be 926. Okay? So I'll give you a couple like that to do. So if you copy these down, so let's have 475 plus 367. And if we have 951 plus 609. Okay, so again, if you hit pause, have a go at those, and when you've done them, hit play, and I'll show you the answers. Okay, so for that first one, 5 plus 7 makes 12, so we put the 2 there and carry the 1 across to the next column. 7 plus 6 is 13, and add that 1 on makes 14, so we'll put the 4 there and carry the 1 across. And then 4 plus 3 makes 7, and add the 1 on makes 8. So that one would be 842. Then in the next one, we have 1 plus 9 is 10, so we put 0 there and carry the 1 across. So it still looks like 10. 5 plus 0 is 5, and add the 1 on makes 6. And then 9 plus 6 is 15, so we put the 5 there, carry the 1 across, but then we don't have a thousands column, so there aren't any numbers to add now. So that 1 that's carried, we can now just write there in front of the 5. So we have 1,560 for our answer for that one. Okay. Now, sometimes you might need to add more than 2 numbers together. And this same method works even if you've got 3 or more numbers to add up. So if we needed to add, say, 436 and 362 and 84 all together, then we do the exact same thing, but now there's 3 numbers in each column. So 6 plus 2 makes 8, plus 4 makes 12. So we'd put the 2 there and carry the 1. 3 plus 6 makes 9, plus 8 makes 17, plus another 1 makes 18. So we'll put the 8 there and carry the 1. And again, if it takes you longer and you need to count up on your fingers, that's fine. So 3 plus 6 is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, that's the 8 added on, and add the 1 makes 18. So it doesn't matter if it takes you a while to do. Use your fingers and get it right rather than guessing and getting it wrong. 4 plus 3 is 7, and add the 1 on also makes 8. So the answer to that will be 882. So it works just fine if you've got 3 or 4 or 5 numbers that you need to add. It just means that the more numbers you have to add, the longer it takes, and the more likely you are to have to use your fingers. So don't worry if that happens. So if I give you one with 3 to add up, you can have a go as well. So if you copy it down, hit pause, and then when you've done it, hit play again. So let's have 713 plus 251 plus 86. So hit pause and then I'll show you the answer. Okay, so 3 plus 1 makes 4, plus 6 makes 10, so we put the 0 there and carry the 1. 1 plus 5 makes 6, plus 8 makes 14, plus 1 makes 15, so we put the 5 there and carry the 1. 7 plus 2 makes 9, plus another 1 makes 10, so we put the 0 there and carry the 1, but with nothing else left to add, so now that 1 that we carried can just be written in there like that. Okay? And then if you want to try one more like that, we'll have 429 plus 72 plus 15. Okay, so same again, hit pause, try it, hit play. Okay, so 9 plus 2 is 11. Plus 5 makes 16, so 6 there and carry the 1. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 1 is 10, plus another 1 is 11, so 1 there and carry 1. And then 4 plus 1 makes 5. So 516 is the answer. Right. And then finally, we have to be able to add with decimals, especially for questions in exams like money. So often they'll give you a somebody goes and buys these things and those things that cost this much and that much each. How much do they spend overall type of question. So they usually involve decimals. So if we wanted to add £3.75 and £1.49, we would again set them up in a column like before. And all that really matters when you add with decimals is that decimal points always belong directly above decimal points, and everything else then fits in the correct space around the decimal point. So all your decimal points always need to be really lined up. So we'd have £3.75 over £1.49. And you don't need to put the pound signs in. You can forget currency or any kind of units for the actual calculation. It's best to leave them off so they're not cluttering, and then just remember to put them back on your answer at the end if it is a question based in some kind of currency or measurement. So I'll put my decimal points in the answer space as well, directly under those other decimal points. And then it works just like before. So 5 plus 9 makes 14, so I'll put the 4 there and carry the 1 across. 7 plus 4 makes 11, and add 1 on makes 12. So I'll put the 2 there, and I'll carry the 1 across to the next column, which means it's also moved to the other side of the decimal point now. And then 3 plus 1 makes 4, add the other 1 makes 5. So I have 5.24, which would mean, as my answer, £5.24. Okay? So let's do another one with decimals. Let's have one where they've got different numbers of decimal places. So if we wanted to add 27.6 and 3.45, we'll put 27.6, but decimal points have to go directly above decimal points when it comes to adding or subtracting with decimals. So that means that the 3 will go under the 7, the 4 will go under the 6, and the 5 will go after the 4, and it's not underneath anything. So we're going to be adding those. And what you can do if you don't want to leave that bit blank is just fill a 0 in, because 27.60 means the same as 27.6. So 27.6 and 27.600 and 27.60000, they all mean the same thing. They all mean 27.6. So we just tend not to go round writing zeros on the ends of numbers, because we could go on forever. We could go on with infinite numbers of zeros. So we just usually leave those trailing zeros off. But if you want to then fill them in for doing your adding so that you've not got a gap in the column, that's absolutely fine to do. So now we say 0 plus 5 is 5. 6 plus 4 is 10, so I'll put the 0 there and carry the 1. And then putting the decimal point directly under the decimal point means that the 1 that I carried is now on the other side of the decimal point. 7 plus 3 makes 10, and add the 1 on makes 11. And 2 plus 1 makes 3. So the overall answer to that one is 31.05. Okay? So, if you do, if you do £5.62 plus £2.47, and this time you'll have to set it up in a column yourself, so I've not written it in a column for you. And if you also do 36.1 plus 7.23. And again, I've not written it in a column for you, so you'll have to do that yourself. If you hit pause, try them, and then I'll go over them with you. Okay? All right, so let's set this up in a column. So we have 5.62, decimal point directly under the decimal point, which means the 2 goes there, the 4 goes there, and the 7 goes there. So 2 plus 7 is 9. 6 plus 4 is 10, so 0 there and carry the 1. Decimal point directly under decimal point. 5 plus 2 is 7. Add 1 makes 8. So we have 8.09. And since the question was in currency, that would mean our overall answer would be £8.09. The next one, 36.1, decimal under decimal. So the 7 goes there under the 6, the 2 goes under the 1, the 3 goes after the 2 and isn't at the moment underneath anything at all. And then if you like, you can fill a 0 in there like that. So now we have 0 plus 3 equals 3. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Decimal point under decimal point. 6 plus 7 equals 13. So the 3 there, carry the 1. Still looks like 13. 3 plus that carried 1 makes 4. So the overall answer is 43.33. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop back on the screen those questions that I put up right at the beginning, and hopefully now you will be able to do those. So if you hit pause on the questions that I'm about to pop up, have a try at those and hopefully they'll go okay this time. What I'll say quickly before I go is that if you're not very good at this yet, it will take a while before it becomes quite smooth and quite quick. And it's not the kind of thing that you can revise once, practice once, and then immediately be good at. It is a skill that needs a little bit of practice. So what I usually say to people is that it's better to practice this addition little and often until you're quite good at it. So what I suggest you do is spend about 5 or 10 minutes on it about 3 or 4 times a week, and you'll probably only need to do it for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you will find that you're quite good at it. You don't need to get worksheets off the internet or get a textbook or anything like that to find questions like this. You can literally just think of 2 numbers, set them up, add them together, and then you can check your own answer on a calculator or the calculator app on your phone. So just set yourself between 5 and 10 of them 3 or 4 times a week for 2 or 3 weeks until it's nice and smooth and you tend to get them right. And then once you've learned it as a skill, then you'll probably always know it. It won't be something you'll have to revise. It won't be something that you're likely to forget then once you do know it well. It's something that you'll probably always remember and always be able to do. But it's really an important skill for a non-calculator paper. So I hope that helped. I'll show the questions now and I'll see you next time. Thank you.